Hey, what's going on, Navy Vet 88? I appreciate y'all for tuning into this video. If you saw the post that I recently posted, this pretty much is a response to that actual post itself. In that post, I was pretty much trying to figure out what are the things that you all consider to be necessary as well as optional when it comes to having your EDC pistol. Now, I know a lot of guys who carry EDC pistols, whether it's Glock, Canic, SIG, M&P, you name it, the list goes on. But I know a lot of people like to debate on whether or not a weapon light as well as a red dot is absolutely necessary, or is it, pretty much optional. Some guys, like I said, they feel it to be very, very necessary. And some people just say, hey, it's whatever you decide to carry. It really doesn't matter whether you have a light or a red dot or a certain type of ammo, what have you. Some people are pretty much just the straight out of the box firearm owners, and they pretty much, carry it in that configuration directly out of the box, stock, bone stock, no attachments, no trigger upgrades or anything like that. And to them, that is, all that's needed. They don't need any extra lights. They don't need any extra red dots or anything like that, extended magazines or anything. And then I know people who consider their EDC, a part of their lifeline. So they want the best possible options when it comes to defending your life, whether it be an extended or excess amount of ammo that does not come within the standard magazine capacity. So people who carry, we'll say Glock 19s, you're pretty much carrying a 15 round mag. And then you might add a base plate that might give you about an extra 3 or 4 rounds. That'll put you at about maybe 19 to 20, depending on what base plate that you get and where it's from. Some people like to go with the ramjets for better accuracy and less recoil. Upgraded sights. So some people might go with the suppressor height sights, even if they're not running a dot, but just to have those higher sights as well as good illumination. You might be running tritiums, you might be running fiber optics. They may, also carry a light on it. So their lights, from the Surefires to the stream lights, as far as their weapon lights, they'll be carrying also a red dot, whether it's a SIG, a Hollow Sun, an EOTech, Steiner, trying to think, Trigicon, and the list goes on, of course. And then, like I said, you have people who just pretty much those straight out of box people. So they don't treat it as a real necessity or a mandatory thing to have, because they might just be good with what they have. And if a situation arises, they'll make do with what they have. So if it's a nighttime shooting or a nighttime engagement, then they're okay with that. But for people like myself, I do carry at night as well as during the daytime, but I do have different firearms that serve different purposes. So of course, during the daytime, I run something that's a little bit smaller, especially with this time of year, with it being so hot down here in Alabama. I don't want anything that's going to be an excess of weight. So if I'm wearing shorts or, even if I'm wearing jeans, because I'm a shorts and jeans throughout the year type of person, but I just pretty much don't want to have that excess weight if I don't have to. All right, so as you can see here, this is my Glock 43X. It is stock. There's no attachments. There's nothing that's been done to it. And it's pretty much straight out of the box. Now, this is what I would consider my summertime pistol. So I carry this in the summertime more than anything. Very slim, very compact. As you can see, the slide is very, very slim. The frame itself is very, very slim. And the weight distribution is really, really good, but it's not something that's very, very heavy. Once you start to loading it with whatever type of ammunition that you use, I typically run the 6-hour V Crown, 124 grain inside of here. And I don't want anything that's going to be excessively heavy. So I know a lot of people may go with the Shield Arms, I think, is who makes the extended not the extended magazine, but they make a magazine that gives you a larger capacity when it comes to ammunition, but it still keeps it flush completely throughout the bottom of the pistol. So you will see here that it will be completely flush, and I will give you an example. So if I were to go here, this would be a 10 round single stack magazine, but from what I know, Shield Arms makes a magazine that is, I think, 14 or 15 rounds, and it pretty much gives you that, extra capacity when it comes to ammunition. But for me, I don't want anything that's going to be heavier than what it should be. Like I said, I already run 124 grains. I don't run like 140 issues or whatever the case may be. So I don't want anything that's going to add weight. So I got this pistol specifically for the hot weather times. So I'll carry this throughout the day. Maybe if I'm going to the store, if I'm going to drop my daughter off at daycare, if I'm just pretty much riding around throughout the daytime, maybe going to a friend's house, going to my in-laws house or anything like that. But for the most part, that's going to be a daytime use only type of situation. So I'm not worried about having extra height sights or suppressor height sights or anything like that, or my tritium night sights or anything like that. Like I said, this is pretty much just a daytime situational function. It's light. I can move around well with it, very discreet. Now, granted, I do have a holster that keeps things very, very discreet. But at the same time, I wanted something that, of course, like I said, was very light, and I don't want to have to worry about a whole lot of excess weight carrying around, because I do carry appendix. So once you're walking around and moving around a lot, you will start to feel that weight as you continue about your day. Okay, now right here we have our Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS. Of course, like I said, Glock 19. We have the Holosun red dot as well as the Streamlight TLR7 weapon light. Now, this pistol right here is, I would consider my EDC all day pistol. So if I know that I'm going to be gone like entirely throughout my entire day, then I'll carry this. If I know that I'm traveling further than just a few miles, I'm carrying this. Anything that's over a drive of maybe 30, 40, 50 minutes, I'm definitely carrying this. If I'm nighttime leaving the house, going to the gas station, going to Walmart, pretty much anywhere, I'm carrying this right here, because of course it has a weapon light as well as a red dot. I'm proficient at using both, and I feel like a lot of people are good when it comes to using their red dot, but they're not good at using their actual weapon light and knowing when and when not to use it, whether you should keep it in an on position, whether you should use your momentary on and off. I feel like there's a class that should be taught, if there isn't a class that's taught right now that I don't know of, about how to actually use a weapon. Using a red dot is very, very simple. It's straight to the point. Once you get to the point where you actually know how to put the dot where your eye is and not put your eye where the dot is, then you pretty much mastered it almost, in a sense. Because the more you shoot, the more you try and use it. Repetition makes perfection. So using a red dot, I feel like it's really, really a easy thing once you realize how to put your dot where your actual eye is. But using a weapon light, I feel like can be very, very tricky, because people might not know where to actually shine it at. You can illuminate a room with your weapon light pretty much pointed down at the ground, and it will give you illumination, so you don't have to actually point your weapon light directly at whatever it may be that you intend on shooting. You can really use this weapon light in the right way, but you can also use it in the wrong way. So just because you have it doesn't mean that you're going to know how to use it the proper way. So a lot of people should definitely get training when it comes to using your weapon light. Up here we have the suppressor height night sights, which are tritium. They have like a greenish glow when nighttime comes around, but it really doesn't show as much during the daytime. It's pretty much just a white light, typically looking similar to having a standard Glock pistol sight. It's just white, but of course, as the day goes on, it gets darker, you get in a certain type of lighting and things of that nature, then the light actually does kick in, and you'll be able to notice it, and it picks up very, very well. You track very, very well and fast when it comes to just using these dots alone. Even without the actual red dot, I feel like these dots you're able to track these dots faster than you're actually able to track your red dot. But that's my opinion. I've shot this pistol for so many rounds, and I've trained with it. I've gone through classes with it. So for me, I like the dots more than I actually like the red dot in itself. But of course, if the red dot goes off, then it is co-witness, so I don't have to worry about anything in that nature as far as not being able to aim. And that's pretty much it. So they're higher, and I got them higher so that they co-witness through the red dot. So if you do have a red dot on your pistol or any firearm, then you should be having your suppressor height iron sights, or just having sights that pretty much co-witness. So that way, if your red dot does go down, you still have the opportunity, or you still have the option to still aim and get a good shot off if you need to, because aiming is very important. Then of course at the bottom right here, we just have a little goon tape. It's pretty much just for grip purposes. It's nothing that is necessary for me. But here's our light. And then of course, you can do a momentary on and off, and then you could just pretty much do an audible on and off. But yeah, this is my EDC pistol. This is the one that I would consider to be my all-day pistol. And of course, like I said, this Glock 43X, this is pretty much just my during the day type of situation. It has no upgrades. It has no funky anything on it. It doesn't even have the option to put a rail mounted light on it. Although TLR 6, I want to say, is the option for you to put a weapon light at the bottom of this. I'm not sure how it actually connects. I think you might have to take the slide off. But since it has that smooth grooving at the bottom and it doesn't have a rail mount or anything like that, then yeah, you pretty much just have to slide it on. And I think that's the only company as far as Streamlight that I've seen that actually makes a light that is compatible for that particular model. Now I do have another Glock 43X that does have that option for a weapon light on it, but I don't have it right now in my possession as far as trying to make this video right now. This is pretty much, like I said, this is my EDC pistol that I'm carrying every single day. As you can see right here, give you a better look at it. So yeah, this is my all day, everyday pistol. If I have to go any further distances than a few miles from my house, but if I'm local and I'm not doing too much in this morning time, early day, afternoon, then we're carrying this right here. So this, like I said, Glock 43X, very small, very slim, 10-round magazine. With the 19, I carry a 15-round mag. So if you can see right here, 15-round magazine. This is a standard Glock mag right here. All right, and as you can see here, we have our Neo mag, and this pretty much holds our magazine inside of our pocket when we put it in. This is another MOE Glock 19 15-round magazine, and then we have a Strike Industries base plate, which is I think a +4 or +5 base plate. So we have about, I want to say 20 rounds in here. So we'll have 15 rounds in our pretty much flush magazine that we keep in the pistol, and then in pocket if we need to go and do any type of reload, and then we have a 20-round magazine right here. So that puts us at about 35 rounds, and there you go. If we can't get it in 35 rounds, then we don't need to be doing it to begin with. It's Navy Vet 88, man. I appreciate y'all for watching and tuning into this video. Like I said, this video is basically a response to the post that I put out a couple hours ago about the whole EDC. How do you carry it? Does it need all of these options and attachments and things like that? Or do you just run it bone stock, bone dry, nothing on it, you know, pretty much just right out of the box how it comes. So I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Stay tuned. We got another video coming up pretty soon. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. Y'all really helped this channel grow like you wouldn't believe. I started this channel a while back. Hardly had any subscribers, any views or anything like that. Put out a video, it worked. Put out a short, it worked. I went from somebody who just started to do some content randomly to being at SHOT Show and meeting pretty much my biggest idol when it comes to the firearm industry and just being in this community, which was Coleon Noir. So, you know, but that's only possible because you guys helped me out along the way with your comments, your subscriptions, or subscribing to the channel, interacting, telling a friend, sharing videos, sharing shorts. You know, I appreciate all that. I really do appreciate all that. So thank you guys so much. So at the end of this video, I can say, you know, thank you for watching. As far as, you know, watching me is pretty much me saying thank you guys for tuning in and watching and being a part of this ride and this journey. I really do appreciate you all. Continue to comment, continue to subscribe, continue to share this video and like it with your friends, man. We got something big coming, and that big that's coming, I don't even know what it is yet, but I know it's big. So I appreciate y'all, man. Navy Vet 88, take care. Peace.